This meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Biddulph Town Council YouTube page. The aim is that decision-making should be transparent and in the public domain, which will involve more of our community and local democracy. By being in this council chamber, you are consenting to being recorded and for your image to be added to YouTube. The images and sound may be used for training purposes. Any views expressed are the speaker's own and do not necessarily reflect the view of Biddulph Town Council. Please view the guidance on recording and public meetings policy if you need more information. Right, so have we got any apologies?
We do. Councillor Hawley, and his substitute for the evening is Councillor Rogers, Councillor Eardley and Councillor Redford.
Councillor Salt and Charlie may be late, or she will be late, but she might get into the back end, she says. So.
Right, so item 28, declarations of interest. Disclosable pecuniary interests and dispensations. Anybody?
My prospective new next door neighbours have got an application on the agenda by Meadowside.
And also interest. Chair, if I may, one of the, in fact, the only thing we've got as a supplementary application is the town council's application for the cemetery at Compton Road. So we all have a bit of an interest in that by the very nature of us being here, but although it's there for a supplementary, we don't usually discuss our own applications, do we? But I'll note that within the minute.
Right, okay. Thank you. Minutes to approve the minutes from the planning committee meeting held on Tuesday, 16th of July 24. Anybody? Chair. To receive the notes from the Neighbourhood Plan Working Group meeting on the 24th of July 2024.
Happy to move them on the absence of the chair. That was at the meeting.
Yeah. I went to second.
You, Mark.
In the
I rather not. So that's good.
That's okay. We receive them here anyway. Does anybody want to run through them, or do you want to? Anybody want the chair to run through those?
Where are they? Oh, I haven't printed all.
Oh, does anybody need those to run through, or are we receiving them?
Are they accurate?
We put Councillor Rogers as the only member in attendance. Received. Is that okay?
Right, to Councillor Proudlove.
Thanks, Chair. Just something I picked up on the minutes of the Neighbourhood Plan Implementation Working Group. The reference to planning decisions and the like at Staffordshire Moorlands, not referencing the made Neighbourhood Plan. Darren Price, who's the portfolio holder, planning and regen at the District Council. He and I have monthly one-to-ones with that include the head of planning. I will pick that issue up with Ben. So
Okay. Not noted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, do that. So item 30, standing agenda item. Consider any proposed sites for local listing.
I've just for the minutes, Chair, I contacted the conservation officer again at the planning department. So we've 6 sites put forward at the moment for local listing, but it's gone very quiet. And I had a bounce back from the email address to say she doesn't work there anymore, which should be one of the reasons why they haven't progressed. So I've contacted the planning enforcement team, which is what her email signposted me to see who can deal with that. So hopefully we can eventually get, moving forward with the ones that we've already got in.
Councillor Proudlove.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We are at the District Council in the process of appointing a new conservation officer. So hopefully things will change in the near future.
Okay, thank you. Item 31, to consider the implications of the National Planning Policy Framework and PPF consultation and a potential response from Biddulph Town Council. We've got this over to Sarah. Please.
So obviously, there's a link on your agenda. It depends whether you're particularly interested in PPF. In terms of whether you want to put in a response, there are 102 questions within the document. So I wouldn't suggest that we attempted to provide any feedback on all of those items. I've gone through a number of documents online, and obviously if anyone else had the opportunity to have a look at this, do please kind of chirp in, give me your words of wisdom. In terms of the way forward with this, our biggest issue is neighbourhood planning and the consideration of green space. So I think so certainly what I've read suggests that neighbourhood plans will then offer protection from unwanted development within an area for 5 years rather than 2, according to the change in the document. There's also some discussion about areas will no longer have to meet supply and delivery test plans to benefit from protection. So that means that the adverse impact of allowing development that conflicts with the neighbourhood plan is likely to significantly, demonstrably outweigh the benefits, even in the areas of low housing supply or delivery. There's a role with neighbourhood plans and the preparation of local plans, which seems to be changing within that. And it seems to strengthen made neighbourhood plans as well, which I think is positive for us. But if this is everybody else is reading of this, or whether there's anything else that you want to add to that. I've felt when I'd read it, I think there isn't a lot of mentioned neighbourhood plans within there. But it seems, at least initially, to strengthen the role of neighbourhood planning. Whether that's the long-term aspiration or not, I don't know. But I think probably what we'll have to be mindful of as an implementation group and as a committee, as I say, is the kind of the impact on any green belt reviews. And then I think local plan is due for revision at the district council as well. So be mindful of that. I don't know whether you want to put in a response to that. We're obviously able to do that if you want to, but
Councillor Proudlove.
I mean, I think the challenge here is that the consultation closes next Tuesday, right? So, a week to consider 102 different questions on the revised NPPF. Clearly, it wouldn't be sensible, it wouldn't be practical to look at all 102 questions. Probably, if we were going to do something, just the ones that are most pertinent to the town council, neighbourhood planning being the obvious one, as Sarah alludes to. But what we shouldn't lose sight of as a town council is automatically dismissing the high level strategic stuff that would obviously sit with Staffs Moorlands and other bodies, because it's kind of, it would be the town council's chance to try and play a small role in influencing the direction of travel on those matters, and and not kind of put it further down the line if changes are made and changes are not made to specific policies within the framework, and ringing about the fact that, oh, what, we didn't do or say anything. Now, I'm not suggesting that we make a huge, because just isn't time to do it, is it? Let's be honest. A week, it's killing it. So, I mean, I would suggest that if we do a response, we just simply focus on the things that impact directly on us as town councillors. So obviously neighbourhood planning, influence over or the changes to greenbelt policy, because Biddulph is hemmed in totally by the greenbelt. Matters like that, really. I don't know what others think.
Councillor Yates, did you want to say something?
Well, I was thinking, I've just gone onto the website and the online responses there. I think, these things are quite interesting just by looking at the way what questions are put there and the way the questions are phrased gives an indication of the direction of travel and the elements of planning policy which they're looking at collectively. I don't think it'd be a bad idea if we've got the time to do individual responses to it as individual councillors.
Yeah,
about that.
that's the other thing. Yeah,
The fact that we're on the planning committee shows we've got an interest in that, and I think, okay, some of them are going to be relatively straightforward comments, or you haven't got a real comment. I should think a couple of hours on an evening or a Sunday morning, it could actually, it looks actually more interesting than it sounds. So I would sort of suggest or even recommend, because I'll certainly do it on one evening this week, that we actually trawl through it. It's semi-educational and semi-training, if you know what I mean, because it gives you an insight on things, and then you can obviously copy those links across. I think doing a collective response is very difficult, but individually, I think it would be an insight into the psyche of what's going on.
I think Chair tonight should do the town council response.
Thanks, Dave.
Shall I write as part of a response then, emphasising the importance of neighbourhood planning, protection of greenbelt, and local involvement in the review of local plans?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah.
Priorities for us, I think.
Yeah, Councillor Yates, Councillor Jackson.
Yeah, the greenbelt is a very emotive subject, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's misunderstood here, but it is misunderstood by an awful lot of people. I was talking to, for example, I was talking to one of the mayors who was complaining about we're going to be building on greenbelt. They had a better build on the fields in front of me, and then I said, "Well, you're the mayor of such a place, and you've got no greenbelt whatsoever." He says, "I have, this green fields all around me." Greenbelt. There's actually a very small, relatively small percentage of the country in the scheme of things, and the reality of it is that there are previously developed areas. This concept of grey belt is actually very interesting, and for severely constrained places, it is the obvious place to go, and it's been untouchable up to now. But it's potentially a positive move. Green belt of high quality, even medium quality, and even lower quality, sacrosanct. Yeah, absolutely. But previously in an old industrial land, which happens to have this very broad paintbrush onto it, could well be the way forward for economic development. So I'm not, I think it needs to be eyes wide open and not listening to certain elements of the press.
Councillor Jackson.
Yeah, I was just sort of thinking which comments carries the more weight with the people who are actually going to be looking at the comments. Individuals putting comments in, or a town council or a district council putting their 2 pence. I would suggest the bodies would probably carry a lot more weight than individuals, but I'm certain that individuals could feed in, if they so wished, to what the response has been to me.
Yeah, through the chair, yeah. I mean, you're quite right. Individuals, there'll be literally thousands and thousands of individuals making responses to consultation. Bodies will naturally carry more. I mean, the district council obviously will be responding to the consultation. Don't know what that will look like yet. I'm hoping that we'll know a bit more about it soon. I think it would be, particularly given that in effect, the town council are a mini planning authority, given the development of the neighbourhood plan, I think it would be positive if there was something there from the town council, bearing in mind the time pressures.
In conclude, councillor Rogers.
Yeah, thank you. Just briefly, greenbelt is a good lever to use. And Bill's got more greenbelt than a lot of towns. But goalposts can't be moved, unfortunately. A lot of developments in Biddle now were once greenbelt, so it's got to be protected and looked after.
So what are we proposing to do? We got,
Sarah, one side.
do we have time to do this? We need to do this?
Yeah, I won't do all 102 questions.
No,
I'll pick out I think the focus for us, as I said right at the start, it's got to be on neighbourhood planning, green belts, and then how kind of we would feed into a reviewed local plan.
and perhaps heritage and design as well.
Okay, thank you.
That's an neighbourhood plan.
Right. So okay.
Have you got, sorry, better of a proposal for a second for that.
Yeah, could somebody propose it, please? David? Anybody else? Councillor Jackson?
Yeah.
You happy? We happy? Everybody happy? Yeah, look at that.
Be happy, Andrew.
Nobody saw mine going. 32. Item 32, new planning application. So this is the old engine house, Biddulph Road, Madcop. It's an application for a listed building consent for installation of doors, which differ slightly from those previously approved by application reference. We can all see that reference. So Jim's gone through it. I don't think it's already had planning permission, and it's just needs doors. The design is slightly changing. So has anybody else got anything to say about that? Councillor Rogers, sorry.
Yeah, I've watched this development over many years with intrigue, really. It's a doctor like the home myself, and everything that's been done so far seems to be unfitting with the area and the development. So I've got no adverse comments personally.
Anybody else?
Read.
Right.
Everyone happy?
Proposer, seconder.
Great.
Right, application number SMD/2024 0361. This is a single-story brick-built agricultural building to northwest of Cloud Farm, Dale Lane, Congleton. It's a change of use of a single-story agricultural building to dwelling and associated external domestic amenity, new vehicular access, temporary sighting of static caravan. Now a picture of the existing. That'd be wonderful. I can't see how, it's in a green belt, isn't it? It looks like it's been a cow shed for stalls many years. And we put a detailed plan in to convert it into a dwelling. It looks pretty comprehensive to me. It seemed to have
Site block plan as proposed.
yeah.
That's proposed.
Just a very quick comment while we're looking for that, Chair.
Yeah.
As it says, Dowell Lane, Congleton, is that covered by SMDC, Congleton?
Well, I thought about this, but there must be, there's another one in
I
it.
know, so I'm saying it's in that area.
Postal address.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the boundary with, between Cheshire East and SMDCs.
Yeah, there are some CW12 postcodes within.
Next to the voters.
That, there's some photos of the existing.
Yours.
I mean, to me, it can't possibly be any worse than what it already looks like.
That's sometimes part of the plan, isn't it?
Pardon?
Just saying, sometimes part of the plan, let something run down to.
Yeah, back to the store. It's just low, isn't it?
Yeah, it's there.
Was one thing that councillor Garvey pointed out was that a footpath close by. It's not going to impact on the footpath.
Councillor Yates is waving at me. Oh,
Oh, councillor Yates.
oh.
Yeah, it is a bit,
That's it.
it's a bit grim, isn't it, to be perfectly honest? The only thing is, and it looks like it's been redundant for quite a while, is that effectively once you do this, I mean, it was a farm. And taking the principal farm use building out, is like you're effectively, you know, taking a farm out of production and a farm out of use. So there is an implication there in some respects. I am surprised there's no indication that they've applied for pre-planning advice, because usually the, you know, barn conversions within Greenbelt are quite strictly monitored.
Yeah.
I would have expected that they would have gone for pre-planning advice. There's no, I haven't seen anything on there which sort of shows what the elevations are going to look like and what the surface finish is. Is there a plan to re-render it, or are they going to put some?
It's the so the walls, existing red facing brick retained, roof existing profile sheet, replaced with staff's blue plain clay tiles.
That picture was white. Just render. There wasn't any red brick on the.
There's another one in Dial Lane.
Have you on one? Have you on one?
No, we're on the right one. There's two in Dial Lane.
If you go back to that picture, that's distressed render, isn't it?
There's no reference to rendering this one that I can see. It's all brick.
And that's not red brick.
That's brick.
Design and access statement is rubbish.
It's been painted white, hasn't it, in the past? And the white paint's come off.
I'll be honest, leave it to the planners, I suppose. It's whether it's permissible and, you know, change of use, and the fact it's in Greenbelt increases the what sideways response. Can't see being too much of a problem.
So, councillor Garvey has recommended we approve with conditions implementation of recommendations from ecology and bat surveys. So we can't attach on the use of footpath 94. So shall we, somebody want to move that we'll approve it with conditions, these conditions?
Can't approve with conditions, we.
That's just what Jim's put down, that's it.
I think we can suggest things.
Yeah.
Okay,
First comments as opposed to approve.
That sounds sensible.
yeah. So somebody want to move, no adverse comments?
I suppose that.
I'll second it.
So this one, next one is SMB spoke 2024-0367. Proposed building up of existing opening to provide single door access and side screen it's been a garage that's been converted into living space, and then is that to add, that wouldn't have been a change in, been a material change of use. And there was no planning restriction preventing it. However, there is a condition that removes PD rights that would otherwise permitted alterations to the dwelling. So if the garage door has been altered to provide a window, for example, that alteration would require planning permission. So this door opening needs planning permission.
Which application are we talking about?
0367.
0375, we're
That's the one you've.
Sorry, I've jumped onto,
no,
onto the next page.
You're on 0374.
Oh, no, sorry. Apologies. 036,
037.
yeah, 0361, sorry.
No,
just done that one.
Done that.
All right, yeah, sorry.
374.
Yeah, sorry.
Meadowside.
So it's 0374 now. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
King's Common.
So this is Dave's neighbour, proposed neighbour.
The issues from neighbours on one side.
Right, so it's 5 Meadowside, Biddulph. And it's a proposed single-storey rear extension and alterations. So it's an extension to rear of 2-bedroom bungalow to create large open plan living space. So I think there's a few of them houses have had that done, isn't there, down there? They've extended the back.
Yeah, there is, there's conservatories, there's, yeah, various bits and pieces.
So no impact on trees, hedges, pedestrian access or parking. It's just improving the house as far as I can see. I recommend, it does, the boundary encompasses some green belt on half of the back garden.
I can give you the history to that.
Is it something that we would be interested in then?
What it is, years gone by, farmer, there's, I forget the farmer now. Owns a field to the rear, and in the 1980s, he offered all the property owners on that side of Meadowside the opportunity to buy a portion of the field to extend the garden, because the garden spaces were quite small. Most of the property owners took that up. Now, field is in the green belt. So, where our original garden ends is non-green belt, and then the bit of the garden that used to be the field is in the green belt, and that's obviously it's the same.
It's an anomaly that,
So yeah, it will take up a small portion of the green belt.
yeah. So
Garden.
it's been done before. There's been a precedent set to take it there.
Oh, that's not every application has to be considered on its merits. Obviously.
So has anybody else got anything to say about this one? No.
It's from history, Meadowside has been an absolute nightmare for planning. Whole streets, when occasion and there for anything, it causes or issues.
Not from me.
No.
I may add.
Historically, it's quite a few.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think
Councillor Rogers.
you got to play it by the rules. Got to consider neighbours' comments, 45-degree light, etc. And if it covers all those, then no adverse comments.
Yeah. So should we want to move that?
Close that.
It's valid, neighbours planning.
Valid neighbours' concerns on any 45-degree light issues for the residents.
In the roof, you mean?
You have to have 45 degrees from the back of premises. There's clear light. Can't go right
Oh, I
to
see.
boundaries. You've got to have a 45
Right, yeah.
degree clear vision from your neighbour.
So, okay.
Is that proposed by Councillor Rogers?
Seconded, Councillor Jackson. Alright, so let's get this number right this time.
Just put the comments in.
That's quite- No,
Might have done.
Yeah, go back to that. Mine and Sun's.
they didn't buy it. They didn't buy it, they bought it.
We have to go back to that one.
Yeah.
Page.
Which, no. So the application number SMD 2024-0373. This is Mount Pleasant Farm, Last Edge Road, Last Edge Leak. And it's agricultural building for the storage of fodder.
Agricultural building for the storage of fodder.
It's food, isn't it? It was. For the animal.
Mrs. Foreign, I will be very happy.
Just fodder.
So it's an erection of a steel framed agricultural building to store hay fodder, keep it dry and prevent spoilage due to bad weather. Yes. You want to look at a picture of this one? It's very much,
It just sounds like a normal.
it is,
I mean,
it is.
building.
It's an agricultural building, yeah.
I would say,
Yeah.
yeah, there's
We
comments.
don't need to look at it, no adverse comments, thank you.
Yeah.
To move that,
Porton Parks Council are happy, so they're happy, I'm happy.
right, okay.
Happy handmaids.
Well, exactly, that's something.
Do you want to show your happiness by seconding it or create? Right. Oh, yeah.
Fix that.
All house form.
Oh, right, yeah, this is the single door access, a side screen.
Yeah. This is our notes are in the wrong order.
Yeah, so,
Jim.
yeah. Okay. Where's it going? This one.
You me as well. I knew exactly where you are.
Yeah. Right, so this one is, I think, pretty straightforward. Perhaps we do need to look at this one. It sounds very like they're doing a lot, not really doing very much. No, that's not that one, is it?
No, it's not that one.
367.
Oh, I saw. That's it. That's it, yeah. Is it? That's it, yeah, it's just them doors. Wants to put them doors in, I think.
Take a point of,
So this is the one that, pardon?
take a point of clarification, please.
Yes.
The side screens,
To the question.
I think the bit's either side of the opening bit. You've got your doors and then side screens either side of your doors. Like non-opening bits.
So I don't really know, to be honest. So replace existing temporary solid door screens.
In cricket,
Pardon?
Sarah's putting it into a phone now, just say it'll come up using.
Did
Stand to receive the town council.
Take a piece of.
Councillor Knight,
This meeting is.
Side screen, side screen.
This, understand.
So they're replacing what looks like a set of patio windows with a third of it being a solid door. With a triple solid doorway, so whether they are, well, let's zoom in.
Side screen is the section that's fitted within the frame. It can have like glass or something in it, but it's not part of the door itself.
That's what you want to do.
Planning.
Let them do it.
Find it lazy, you need planning permission for us.
No advert.
Because,
Green belt.
No,
Councillor Jackson, it's because he's converted it into from a garage to a living space before, that he now needs planning permission to do that.
Right, okay. I would propose no adverse comments.
Yeah, I'd
It's
say
just
that.
minor alterations, technical alteration more than actual,
You're proposing that, councillor Yates.
propose that.
It's Jackson.
Brilliant. Um, right, so application number SMD 2024-0396.
That's the same dwelling as the previous one, isn't it? Or same address anyway,
No,
unless it's
No, it isn't.
main house and that other one was the extension.
no, it's not. Different, different people. And
It's actually in the same road, isn't it?
just happens to be close to each other. Hang on.
Some problem, I thought.
Pardon? Right, I was puzzled by this one because there's put a lot of work into doing the application. We haven't asked for pre-planning, we have asked for pre-planning advice. And the additional, the advice given by planning was to refuse planning, remove existing render and return to stone, that's external, I suggest. Reconfigure internal rooms and renovate as required. So we were a bit puzzled as to why it's been refused. And I don't really know. I would move with that one. Councillor Yates.
I would suggest, I mean, I can't see anything particularly unreasonable here.
No,
I'm looking across the floor to see if everybody else sort of concurs with me.
I just say before we carry on, it's near to the Bridestones, quite close to there.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's,
If you're going to dominate the Bridestones, having a porch put on, which looks in keeping with the building. I would suggest, because this is down as a delegated decision, and I'm talking something like this, a site visit usually fills in the missing things which you can't see from here, and perhaps it is a conceptual thing, perhaps it is a view thing. I would sort of support this being called in, because on the basis that I would propose that we put no adverse comments on this and request a call into the planning committee so that you can have a site visit and you can have a discussion on the site to see the ways and wherefore, as opposed to an officer delegated decision. That would be my proposal, because I'm a little bit nonplussed on why they would so adamantly want to put something back. And I'm wondering whether there's some kind of history that they've done some development without permission. And this is almost a sort of correction of things which are multiple things which are wrong at the time. I don't know.
so are you proposing then that we,
The only issue not here is that
so district?
it would have to be called in by a district councillor from that ward, and there's none actually here.
Right,
Because it's a north ward, so whether,
so at this stage, do we approve?
I would say we
No adverse
approve, but
Well, we've got a part of the district council side.
Yeah.
Comments as the town council.
if comments in this town council, I say no adverse comments, but if there was a north district councillor here, I'd be saying that's worthy of a call in, because we're minded not to object to it. There must be more to it, and
Yeah.
it needs a debate personally.
Would you like me to email one of the district councillors in that area and ask them to call it in so that it's the recommendation to do so? You've got councillor Garvey, who's obviously chair of this committee, councillor Park and councillor Hart, the district councillors in Biddulph North.
Yeah. Need, oh.
Councillor Fletcher's in the north ward, would you concur with what I said there?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So we're going to ask one of the district councillors to call it in, but we're minded that it's no adverse comment.
No adverse comments. I mean, most call-ins are to stop things. This would be a genuine request to call in to actually ascertain why the officers are so against it, because
Yeah.
we're minded not to have a
Yeah.
especially not about taking render off and stuff.
It's a research proposal.
We've got a second to that. Stuff that. Everyone happy?
Yeah.
So, next one. application number SMD stroke 2024-0376, Long Valley Road, Biddulph. Now, I would like to look at the photographs of this one. This is excavation works to form timber retaining walls for new parking area at highway level, and works to form raised patio area retrospectively. Extension of existing drop curb to serve new parking area driveway. We've already started the work, so we've got a good picture of what it will look like.
Chair, do you mind if I declare an interest? I didn't realise. I do know this person. I was at school and I've worked with him for quite a while. So I won't be making any comments.
I'd like to look at the photograph.
Yeah. I declare this customer is a customer of mine from work with daytime job. But saying that, I would like to comment on this application.
Who would?
I'd like to comment.
All right, okay.
So he is a customer of mine.
But they're not pecuniary interest.
I'm peculiar.
Where are the photographs?
Yeah. Anything more? At the bottom. I think they were at the bottom. They might be on the application form. Oh, we're doing that. Shall we have the?
Usually when it's photos, it's
Yeah. Councillor Rogers.
I'll tell you a little bit of what I know about this. It is quite a large dig out if you find photos of it. Neighbours don't like change, which is probably natural. And it has been looked at, and from what I can gather, because the retaining timber wall that's been put in is exceeding 30 centimetres. If it was 30 centimetres or less, we wouldn't be going through this application now. If it's above 30 centimetres, I think it comes under building control regulations more than the actual planning to make sure it's safe, the retaining wall.
Right. Timber.
It's a timber wall, yeah,
Yeah.
just to make sure it's a safe wall because it exceeds 30 centimetres. Of which on the face of it, it does look safe.
Well, right, so
Mm.
the photographs show that the hard standing has been concreted.
It does, yeah.
And then when I saw it the other day, the other half has been, all of it's been concrete
I live
now.
close to it, I do see it, yes, I live close to it.
And our concern was about sustainable drainage.
Maybe, but what I can gather, it's the retaining section exceeding 30 centimetres where the considerations come into it to make sure it's a safe retainer.
Right.
That building regulations, apply for building regulations.
Yeah,
on the plan.
yeah, and so building regs, and this is here. Planning reason, because of planning reasons, nothing to do with building.
I'm not sure if it isn't a bit on the application form at the bottom.
one document that just won't be.
Probably
Okay.
Yeah.
But it shows everything.
Go towards the bottom.
Stamp, yeah.
It takes a long time to load. So. Right, does anybody else got any comments about it? I mean.
it's a difficult one, Chair, I think, in many ways, because if you put down under neighbours' concerns, then yes, there is concern because they don't like the change. They want it like it as it was, but that's not a planning application reason. We've got to look at it on the rules and regulations.
Right.
Yeah. I think this one, we're talking technicalities rather than, you know, aesthetics and, you know, all the stuff that we normally deal with. I have no knowledge of what the issues are with it at all. I think they're uncomfortable making a decision one way or the other, and I'm tempted to suggest that we don't make a comment and leave it to the planners and see what they come up with.
I think I didn't know there was concerns by the neighbours. I'm not aware of that. Read them.
Reading the comments.
It's quite,
They got started the ball rolling.
Yeah, I think quite a number of neighbours are quite happy with this as well.
unhappy.
No, they're happy.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a resounding, you know, it's up to, yeah, there's a couple who are quite unhappy, but they're in the rest of the
Rest.
area.
In general, yeah, majority are happy.
Positive about change.
Majority are happy, yeah.
Councillor Proudlove.
Yeah, can I just say, on the SMDC planning portal, there are only 3 public comments, and all 3 of them are supportive.
All right, okay.
One is my, yeah.
Oh, by the applicant.
Oh, yes, okay.
Planning application, the best thing ever happened in Biddulph, I think he said it, something like.
Right, so is somebody proposing then that we make no adverse comments? And
Close that, Chair.
anyone want to say
And
that?
I'll second, no adverse comments.
Could also make a comment that we've been unable to view the whole of the application online. Can't really comment after all.
There we are. Ooh. No. It is quite striking, I thought. Right, does anybody else want to say anything, or is it closed now?
Well, the drop curb last been done, since that last time I looked, hasn't been done, so that needs to be gone down the right direction to get the drop curb application pushed through.
Mm. It was, yeah,
It's a question about meeting sustainable drainage regulations, but again, that would be covered as part of the planning process. I mean, that's something which we have been talking about over the last couple of weeks at SNDC because of the increased frequency of wet weather, and we do get a lot of serious flooding incidents because of wash off from excessive drawings.
they'll pick that up then.
I would expect so. I'd be disappointed if they didn't, and you may well be compatible. I mean, you can't tell from here whether it's porous driveway or not, but
No,
only
it's concrete.
Sorry,
It's concrete, I've had a look at it. Right, so we've got a proposal to make no adverse comments proposed by councillor Jackson, seconded by councillor Rogers. Do we need to take a vote on that? Or just, yeah, okay.
Would you like us to add a comment in there about we raised some queries about sustainable drainage in the drop curb? Not that that's impacted the decision, but just that.
Sustainable drainage, I would have thought. I don't know about the drop curb, I don't know, that's.
Usually you need planning.
Yeah.
for that.
see, it may be an issue with the drop curb being so close to the junction, but
Mm.
but that's.
It does mention on the application form about extending the dropped curb,
Absolutely technicality, isn't it?
yeah.
would be an objection from a highway issue.
Yeah. Okay, then, we happy with that?
Yeah.
Right, so this was a late application. Planning number SMD 2024-0407. This is Emily Smith, 1 Endon Drive, Biddulph. So this is a single story side extension, including internal and external alterations to create an improved access. So if we look at the plan, there is been the end detached house of a linked detached house. So there's no house next to it. And the garage has been converted in the past to a sort of walkway on the original to utility and WC. And the proposal is to go back, have an extension at the side for on a wet room, and to extend the existing WC area into a bedroom. So when I looked at this one, my only concern was that the dining room is an extension previously, as indicated on the original drawing I've seen. We did wonder whether it's overdevelopment, which is a big plot, and I presume it doesn't look too bad really. So I don't know if people want to make any comments about that.
Actually increasing the footprint or just changing how the.
No, it's increasing the footprint.
It's actually.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
sure, get back.
single story extension is new, and that's
On
going
the
to
back.
be the wet room. Sound very much like
It's a
an old person's
and it sounds like it's.
an old person's bedroom and ensuite. So apart from the fact that it's possibly overdevelopment because of this dining room at the back, I don't see any objections to it personally. It is a flat roof. So anybody want to make any comments?
Chair, I think it's down to any valid concerns from neighbours again on this one more than anything. First,
He's come in.
Councillor Rogers is suggesting our neighbour planning concerns.
Yeah. Anybody want to second that? Yeah.
Anything for you?
Right, so the last one is the note. It's one put in by somebody named Miss Sarah Hayden.
That one.
But it's development of an alteration of the graveyard for the gone remembrance. So as this condition, I believe, we make no comments and send it forward to planning. Yeah. Councillor Rogers?
I can't make a comment as such, but the town does need a cremation area in the future. So if it's turned down, we have problems.
Councillor Yates?
Yes, this would automatically go to the planning committee because it's the town council, isn't it? So are we proposing that somebody from the committee, which the working group which is set up to do this, to go and speak on behalf of the town council and explain the rationale? Is that the protocol? We have done that kind of thing before.
It's usually the chair who goes, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I haven't stood on it.
I don't think we should have a.
I did.
This one, not this. Right, okay. So should we
See if
suggest
Councillor
that?
Barb is available.
Yeah. Andy?
Or the vice chair.
Or the chair of that working group. Who is the chair of that working group?
It's recreation amenities it feeds into, so it's.
I thought I went to a separate meeting, which was the Canal River Trust person or whatever. It seemed to be a meeting and he said, "Oh, you're staying for this?" It's the looking at the burial ground options. Oh, it's okay. Well, yeah. But no, I think somebody needs to do a presentation on behalf of the town council.
Shall we propose that then?
Yep.
And somebody can second it. Right, councillor Yates proposed, councillor Rogers second.
Lovely.
And that wraps it up. Thank you for not giving me too much stick.
Just ask a question about something that was at the last meeting.
But yeah,
It's to do with the former forge works, SMD 2024-0248.
yeah, so,
And we requested further information on the contamination of the land. Have we had anything further on that? Because it's not been on the agenda for an update.
right, okay. Sarah?
No, we haven't, but I'll chase that.
It's something that we need to follow through, I think.
Yeah. You know, anything else?
Any other comments on 34? And I know he wants. 34 is your decisions and notices.
Yeah.
So that's the Fletcher's ways to
Yeah.
go through there.
Yeah.
And other than that, you receive those.
Right. So do I have to move that?
I don't know, I can want to say anything else, was it? I'll chase that up, that's the Fletcher, and then 35 is appeals on their own day.
Right, okay.
You want to have? Happy enough.